This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Do you play FanDuel and feel like you aren't creating consistent money-making lineups? Go over to the DFS Doctors on Twitter at the DFS Doctors and DM them with promo code Detroit Sports to get a free trial for their analytically formulated 70% lifetime profit rate NFL and NBA lineups. The whole purpose of playing daily fantasy sports is to get out there and compete and give yourself a chance to win. So go over to the DFS Doctors. Let them help you. They have analysts on staff that look at the best optimal lineup that you can put out there to win money. So why not take advantage? At the DFS Doctors, promo code Detroit Sports.
CBD is a game changer sweeping the nation. This hemp extract is the natural way to elevate your mood, eliminate aches and pains, reduce anxiety, and keep you sleeping all night long. It can even cut your workout recovery time in half. Get in the game today with 20% off all orders of CBD and lavender products from Lavender Lane, a lavender farm located right here in Milan, Michigan. Just go to lavenderlanemi.com today and enter coupon code Detroit for 20% off your entire order. Guys, look, these amazing products are infused with calming lavender to maximize their effectiveness, meaning your CBD items only take minutes to take effect, which is way quicker than those pills you were about to swallow. On top of it, they are perfect for men and women. Lavender Lane has lab-tested CBD creams, tinctures, and roll-ons that are perfect for any situation, even if you're on the go. Put your health back in your hands by heading over to lavenderlanemi.com and entering coupon code Detroit for 20% off your entire order of CBD and lavender products. What do you have to lose? Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. So if you need lavender gifts for your loved ones or just looking for the natural way to ease your discomfort with CBD, go to lavenderlanemi.com and use coupon code Detroit to unlock these miraculous benefits of CBD and lavender. That's lavenderlanemi.com. And remember, use coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your CBD and lavender products from Michigan's own Lavender Lane.
What's up, Detroit sports fans? Welcome back to the Fan Reporter Show, made by fans for fans, powered by the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. I'm Nick, and sitting right across from me is Andrew, who's going to give us this week's topics.
Well, the Pistons front office is refusing to make smart decisions. What's new? And the Lions front office may have a decision made for them. And you made the smart decision to click on the podcast, so kudos to you. It's the Fan Report.
All right, way to give a little bit of kudos to the listeners. I like it. So clarify for me how the Pistons front office is just refusing to make some smart decisions here, because I felt like they made a smart decision by trading Andre Drummond. Mm-hmm. I felt like they made a smart decision by cutting Reggie Jackson. Mm-hmm. I felt like they made a smart decision by cutting Markieff Morris.
They won against the grain finally, but now they're back to their old ways.
This is true. Well, technically, wouldn't this decision be part of their old ways?
Yeah,
still?
they're back to their old ways.
But they're not back. They were already there. Like, this is like the topic we're talking about was a decision made before they cut Reggie and Markieff.
Yeah.
So they're not back to it. This is just something that happened before, and we're just not talking about it.
We'll put it this way. It's like when you have a girlfriend that like you thought like made improvements for the better, and then you realize she was just on her same old bullshit, just didn't show you.
Fair. Well, honestly, the fact that they didn't trade Derrick Rose, and what we're talking about is an article that came out recently, I believe, was it Bleacher Report?
I think so.
Basically stating that the Pistons refused, outright refused to...
Scott Plastic of Bleacher Report.
Okay, outright refused to trade Derrick Rose to the LA Lakers, even though the Lakers came a-calling.
From Brian Windhorst of Hoop Collective, sorry.
Okay.
Continue.
But the Lakers came a-calling for Derrick Rose, and the Pistons just outright refused to trade him, and, that's what we're referencing here. But when that, 3-4 o'clock deadline came by, and Derrick Rose was still on this roster, I knew the Pistons were still on their same old bullshit. They didn't tease me with nothing at that point because they were still on their same old bullshit, and I knew that.
I mean, you didn't get...
Because there was no way in hell there wasn't something on the table for a guy like Derrick Rose. Markieff Morris, I can understand there not being anything. Reggie Jackson, I definitely understand there not being anything. Well, especially considering you don't want to take on a long-term contract.
We heard that.
Right. But especially considering for those guys who, especially Reggie Jackson, who's on an expiring deal, them not wanting to take on a long-term deal in return. So I get them not having an offer on the table for guys like Reggie Jackson, Markieff Morris. But there was obviously an offer on the table of some kind that may have made some sense for a guy like Derrick Rose. Just the way he's been playing, the fact that he stayed healthy for most of this year tells me that.
Yeah.
But
so the quote from Brian Windhorst, he said... regarding Derrick Rose being traded at the deadline. He said, no, there's no chance. He's under contract for next year at a good number. From what I understand, when the Lakers called the Pistons and expressed an interest in trading for Derrick Rose, the Pistons said, hey, we appreciate you calling, but we're not trading him. Dwayne Casey likes him. We think he's going to be important for us next year. He just wasn't available.
I just want to know, like, of what important for you guys for what? Is he important to your 20-win campaign next season?
You're clearly trying to tank. Like, you clearly don't expect to win the championship.
And I
this
hate
year
to
or
break
next
it to
year.
you. I hate to break it to you, to the Detroit Pistons organization and fans alike, but you are not just one top 5 draft pick away from being a championship contender. You're not.
Yeah.
You're a little bit beyond that. Sekou Doumbouya has vastly halted his production or his development in terms of whether or not he will be a big time player next year and a big time piece of this team. Because as of right now, I'm not seeing that as a possibility for next year. You don't have a center any longer because Thon Maker's not going to do it. Christian Wood could be, but at what price? And I don't know if I'd rather him play in the 4 rather than the 5. It's up to be debated dependent on the lineup. John Henson, he's not a part of your future. They obviously don't really want to build around a guy like Luke Kennard, considering they were willing to shop him and they don't believe in him as a focal point of your future. Bruce Brown's a nice defensive piece, but offensively he's inept. So
Bruce Brown has been playing very well as of late. But yeah,
he's still inept offensively.
No, I agree.
He can't shoot.
He has a lot of strides to make offensively.
Yes, defensively he's a very fine player.
Getting after both defensively on the boards, like
he's a very fine player defensively, but you can only play guys like that in situational minutes. It's tough to play 4-on-5 offensively every trip down the floor for 30 minutes a game. It just is. So you are more than just one player away from being a championship contending or even really a top 4 contending team in your conference, and the top 5 pick from this year is not gonna get you there. It's just not. So them saying that he's he's important to next season. Again, I ask the question: to what? A 20-25 win season, maybe 30 if you exceed expectations and your rookie ends up being something big and Sekou takes strides. To what? Like, what is he important to? And the only thing I can think of that, gives me some kind of semblance of hope is maybe they feel they can get more value for him in the offseason after a full season of complete health, of fantastic numbers, a resurgence of the Derrick Rose of old for a full year of basketball as opposed to just the 2/3 of a year of basketball that we've seen so far.
That's a good hopeful way to think about that.
And that's really the only way I can think about it, because at that point you look at next season, you say, okay, he's an expiring deal now.
Yeah.
He's still probably going to be at least a little bit more expensive, but probably not going to be a max deal type player. So it's going to be a cheaper route if the team wants to re-sign him. He will never be able to. I don't know what Derrick Rose will ever be able to make what his production is worth any longer because of the injury risk that he poses and his age now.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a quote unquote discounted type player if a team wants to sign him to an extension after a trade. So, and there's less risk involved if he does get hurt because of the fact that he's on an expiring deal. So maybe the Pistons can get more for him in the offseason than they would have gotten for him at the deadline, which if that's the case and they move him, excellent. Well played, Ed Stefanski. Well played, Arn Tellem. Well played, Dwayne Casey. But until I actually see that there's a light bulb on upstairs in the heads of this front office, I refuse to believe that that's the route they're going to go.
But you still have to pace his minutes if you want to do that.
Absolutely.
Which in their defense, they have scaled his minutes back a little bit
Not enough.
in recent games.
Not enough.
He's finally down below 30 minutes a game.
Said it from the beginning of the season. I'll say it now. I don't want to see him touching 25 minutes. 25 minutes is his max. He hits 26, I'm unhappy.
Well, he's averaging over 25 minutes still.
I know. I don't want that. Stop it. You're going to end up causing him to get hurt, and he will be useless to you and a waste of money on your books.
So since the All-Star break, he's actually averaging exactly 26 minutes a game.
Too much. Minus it by 2 or 3, and I'm happy.
1 minute too much.
Doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, it is.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I actually agree with you because I didn't think about the possibility of his trade value actually going up even further in the offseason if he was able to complete a full season without missing too many
If you tell me
games.
he plays 60 games in a season and he was playing 25 plus minutes a game that entire year and was putting up the numbers he's putting up now, there's teams that are going to come a calling.
I think he's on
as
pace
they damn
to
well
surpass
should.
60 right now.
I don't know exactly. I don't have.
Because how many games
exact
did he miss?
stats.
What, 5 games?
He's
so
probably
far?
missed more than that. I would be surprised if he has only missed 5 games.
I'm pretty sure he has not missed many games.
I'll pull up the stat if you want to.
So he's played 48 games
out of.
60 is how many we've played so far. So he's missed 12 games.
So I was going to
Okay.
say he's definitely missed more than 5 games. So does he play 12 of the next 22? I'd hope so, unless he gets hurt. Obviously,
Yeah. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
But no, like yeah, again. So I because when this report initially came out, I was very, very annoyed because the reasoning that they gave was simply insufficient.
They played exactly 60.
The reasoning they gave was simply insufficient. The fact that we view him as a important piece for next year, as if they were going to be
And
doing
then
anything
they
next
reference, they reference something, or I heard someone reference that he's an important part of teaching the youth on this team.
year. I didn't see that.
I thought I had heard that somewhere, which throw that out the window right now because Derrick Rose himself is a guy who's come out and said, I'm not here to coach. I'm here for me. I'm going to play for me. He ain't a leader.
Yeah.
He's just not. He's a guy who plays for himself. He's very good at it, obviously. But he's not a guy who's going to mentor young talent on your roster. And frankly, what young point guards do you have for him to mentor right now? Jordan Bone? A dude who's going to be eternally in the G League at best?
Yeah, he hasn't really been playing at all.
Exactly.
Playing like 2 minutes a game.
So what is he mentoring
Brandon
at this
Knight's
point?
been decent.
Brandon Knight's like 100.
I'm not saying to mentor him. I'm just saying like he's actually played. He's played better than I expected. We'll put it that
Cool.
way.
I'll be glad when he's gone again.
If we can keep him as like a 3rd string point guard, okay.
At what cost?
I
I don't
can't
want to pay a
imagine.
3rd string.
I can't imagine
Isn't he
Brandon
making
Knight
like
would be
10+ mil a year right now?
Brandon Knight.
Yes.
If he is, and he probably signed a long-term deal a few years ago. Then because there's no way like this offseason he were to sign a new contract, he'd command that much money. There's no way you can tell me that. Let's see. How much is Brandon Knight making?
I could have sworn he had like a decent amount of money on his contract because he was involved in the Andre Drummond trade. He had to be the big money there. Sensen wasn't.
Yeah, he's expiring this year. He's making 15.6
Yeah,
this year.
exactly.
But do you really think he's going to command 50.6?
I bet you he'll be above 8, which that's way too much for me.
You think so?
Yes. Bet you'll be above 7. Anything more than 2 is too much for my blood. For Brandon Knight, get the hell out of here.
Oh man.
Don't even try to get me aboard that train. I'll hop right off. No, I'm very confused as to what the Pistons are looking forward to next season. It's going to be another year of rebuilding. This team is not close right now. They have just now finally begun to tear this thing down and begin to build it back up. We haven't even gotten to the build it back up portion yet because we don't even know if our young guys are going to be any good. We don't know if Sekou Doumbouya is going to turn out to be any good. And if people want to sell me on him being Pascal Siakam of the future, I'll tell you to pump the damn brakes. What has he done that's given you a reason to believe he can be that? Nothing. He's 19 or 20 years old. He ain't close. He's not. He showed a flash when he first got here that lasted, 10 games at most? And he's been garbage ever since. He needs to be back in the G League to develop.
Yeah, we're not saying he can't be.
No,
but
I'm just saying I haven't seen it.
Long ways away.
Yes, he's not close.
Yeah. But
And Luke Kennard can't be a focal point. Obviously, the Pistons don't believe in him to be one at least. And I don't know whether or not to take that with a grain of salt at this point, considering they're the ones who gave up on Chris Middleton and Dinwiddie. Which, by the way, I heard a rumor they tried to trade for Dinwiddie at the deadline.
I heard that too.
Why the hell would they have done that?
It's just like we should never trade him in the first place. We should never let him go.
He and Middleton both.
Yeah. For any of you listeners who just were yearning for a refresher, it was the Suns who signed Brandon Knight to 5 years, $70 million.
God, there's a great organization if I've ever seen one. And okay. Funny you mentioned the Suns because obviously the detractors of the tanking strategy use the Suns as an example, which, okay, I get it. Your argument's valid. However, The Suns are just a garbage organization that
Agreed.
don't know how to build a team.
Agreed.
Just because you have total ineptitude up at the top of one organization who clearly doesn't know what the hell they're doing does not mean the strategy doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because it does. It's been proven to work. I believe the Spurs did it to get Tim Duncan. I believe the Celtics did it before they built the Big Three. I believe the Heat did it at some point as well. I believe the Sixers are known for it. But the Knicks and the Suns are just terrible organizations that can't recognize talent if it hit them in the face. Mm-hmm. They just can't. They take flyers on guys like Frank Ntilikina and Alex Len. And those guys are garbage basketball players. They never even should have. I mean, Alex Len's not terrible, but Ntilikina is.
He's very meh.
He is. He's very meh. Let's be real. Alex Len's a lot better than Frank Ntilikina.
So the last part of this that I do want to discuss is it's not surprising to me the Lakers would have been a team interested in
they were
Derrick Rose.
Primary team coming to call him.
Because it's no secret that they do need a point guard.
Yeah,
they're
a scoring threat as well, especially off the bench.
They're leaning on 34-year-old Rajon Rondo pretty heavily right now. Mm-hmm. So my question to you is, what do you think the Lakers would have been willing to give up to get a guy like Derrick Rose?
A second-round pick. I don't think
I don't think the Lakers are going to be valuing the first-round picks much right now.
I frankly don't think it really.
I don't even know if they have.
I'll be honest with you. If a first-round pick was thrown out to the Pistons and they didn't take it, they should just sell the damn team. Just get rid of the whole thing, move it to Fort Worth, move it to Alaska for all I give a damn. If you were offered a first-round pick for Derrick Rose and you didn't take it, just get the fucking team out of here.
Well, yeah, they did have a first.
They do.
They didn't have a second.
I'd be surprised if they offered it, though. I again, was his value there? Yes. But the fact that he wasn't traded tells me it wasn't even offered. I'd be so shocked to find out that the Lakers offered a first-round pick. I'd be so disappointed in this team and this organization if they let Derrick Rose, if they straight up didn't even listen to the Lakers' offer of a first-round pick. Because that's exactly what you need as an organization right now is build draft capital. Because no matter what, being in the city you're in and in the organization you're in with the state of the team as it is, you are going to have to overpay to bring big name free agents here. And with that being said, what are you going to build around? You have to build through the draft. It's just a fact of the matter of life in Detroit.
Yeah.
You must build through the draft at that point, or you can catch lightning in a bottle again like they did with the 04 team by grabbing a bunch of journeymen and putting them on the same team and having no stars and being a fantastic team as opposed to which you just can't do anymore in the NBA. It doesn't work like that.
But do you think Derrick Rose could translate to a late first in the offseason if he was able to?
I do. Absolutely, I do. In fact, I'd be even willing to say I think he'd be a back third round pick. Not even just like a last 5 picks, a back third round pick. So, and by that I mean like
the teams I think are valuing both are valuing most of the contenders. Those
right. I think in the area of 20 to 30, I think you could potentially get something in that range for him if he completes the season healthy, continues to play at a high level, and plays 60 plus games. I definitely think that's doable for a guy like Derrick Rose, and if that's the route they go, excellent job by Ed Stefanski and company. Excellent job. I'd be very happy with that. But if they passed on a first round pick at the deadline, I will not take that well. That will not sit well with me.
The Lakers don't have a second round pick until 2023. So,
then who knows what the offer was?
If you were getting,
what if they told you it was Kyle Kuzma? I'd be a little upset with that.
I don't know, because I can't just forget how effective Kyle Kuzma was before LeBron got there.
Right.
So
we know how LeBron can hurt young talent.
So I know Kyle Kuzma has a bad reputation now. Like, say Kyle Kuzma is trash, but we know there's talent there. So, and the team like the Pistons, I mean, why not just take a flyer on it?
I don't even think it's a flyer. I think dude can be a good player. He proved that he can be a good player. What I'm like, if it was Kyle Kuzma, I would absolutely have wanted the Pistons to do that. And the reason is, what is Derrick Rose's value to you right now? Nothing.
Yeah, he's not going to have any future
What is his
value.
actual tangible value for your organization in the grand scheme of things?
By the time you're ready to compete,
he's a stopgap before this organization's ready to compete. That's what he is.
By the time you're ready to compete, he's going to be useless.
Exactly. Who knows if he'll have any knees left at that
why
point?
you want to build up. You want to translate his really highly effective play into young assets or draft capital.
Absolutely, and Kyle Kuzma would have been that guy.
Yeah.
If Kyle Kuzma didn't pan out, well, that sucks. But you know what? You at least took a shot at a young, talented player who we've seen have game and could develop into something as maybe a number 3 or number 4 option for your team. Then, hey, guess what? You pair that with a top 5 pick that you potentially could get in this draft. Awesome. Now you've got 2 of the core 3 guys that you need. Maybe Doumbouya develops into one of those. Maybe Kennard takes a step up and develops into one of those. Hey, guess what? You've rebuilt your team a lot quicker than you expected to.
All right, let's move on to football. So it came out, and I believe the New York Post was the first report on this, that Ron Rivera, the new head coach of the Washington Redskins, was at the Combine on Wednesday, and he told reporters that they intend to meet with both Joe Burrow and Tua Tagovailoa, which sent speculation flying like, are the Redskins serious about possibly drafting a quarterback? And it especially sent Lions fans flying because they're like, oh my God, we could possibly land Chase Young. Now, I'll start this one off. I think this is just regular old, just doing your due diligence.
In the top 3, it doesn't matter what you have on your roster. In the top 3, you take BP, you take best player available every single year. If you already have a quarterback, you take another one.
Because let's not forget, they drafted.
Depends how old your quarterback is.
They drafted a quarterback in the first round last year, Dwayne Haskins. Now, he wasn't the greatest.
I think they still like Dwayne Haskins.
I know.
So he ended up having a pretty solid season overall by the end.
So I'm saying he wasn't the greatest, but like how often do we see a team give up on a first round quarterback after the first year? We saw with Josh Rosen.
He did.
That's the only one I can think of.
That dude got a rough shake, man.
Yeah.
That dude had like 4-string linemen blocking for him, and he's been screwed ever since. I know there's more factors than actual play on the field in terms of understanding the playbook, just being able to get it, quote unquote. But in terms of Dwayne Haskins, he's a guy who looked like he started to understand things a little bit better towards the end of the year. But also, you have to understand, what help did he have?
Yeah.
Like, who were his receivers?
I don't think any quarterback was going to be successful with that team.
Exactly.
Just like I don't think any quarterback was going to be successful with that Cardinals team 2 years ago.
Exactly. Who were his at least I think the Cardinals had a lot more help than this Redskins team had. I mean, shit.
At least you had a Hall of Fame receiver on the Cardinals.
And hell, yeah, I mean, what's his face?
Albeit at the tail end of his career, but
I felt like there was
still going. He's still playing next year.
Larry Fitzgerald is quite literally an anomaly. I've never seen anything like him in my life, and I love him for it. He's amazing. Forever will be one of my favorite receivers to watch play. He's so good at everything he does, and he's straight up just a class act too.
Would you say
him.
he's the Tim Duncan of the NFL?
Yes. Not the greatest of all time, but hands down easily one of the greatest, and the longevity there and the continued
and the fundamentals,
the consistent success and fundamental aspect to his game is just so incredible.
And he's quiet. Like he's not really
so
outspoken.
Quiet. I know, I love it. I respect the hell out of Fitz, man. Awesome player, love watching him play. But I do think the Redskins like Dwayne Haskins. I think they're willing to continue moving forward with him. I think this is them just doing their due diligence. I also think it's them putting up a little bit of maybe a smoke screen here to maybe get a team interested in jumping ahead of the Lions to then grab that number 2
which is
pick,
also good for the Lions if we want to get Chase
This
Young.
is nothing. This rumor gives me nothing but happiness.
Yeah.
Because that means that the Lions could land Chase Young, are more likely to land Chase Young at that point, which
and if Chase Young's on the board, I have more confidence Lions taking Chase Young than they do have confidence in Lions taking Tua. I don't, because I really do think the Lions pass on Tua if he's there.
If Chase Young is on the board and the Lions don't take him,
I'm done.
I quit.
Yeah,
I quit.
I'm done.
I quit. I pack up. I will put all of my Lions things into a closet, and I will just give up on them for the year. I quit.
That'd be the most boneheaded move.
It'll be the most Lions move. They'll end up drafting like a linebacker from that was with a 3rd round grade in the 1st round in the top 3. Like, or they'd trade back to pick 7 or pick 5, and Chase Young will go number 4 to the Giants or 3 to whoever. And be a superstar.
Because like you have a generational talent at a position in need, and if you pass on that, like it makes 0 sense.
God, where does that remind me of? Oh, right, Aaron Donald.
No, let's take Ebron.
Yeah, that's the year we took Ebron.
I'm saying, no,
I know.
let's take Ebron. Like, I'm pretending I'm in the front office.
If you are the Lions at number 3 and Chase Young is staring you in the face, I will run up to the podium myself, butt ass naked, to deliver the card.
And the Lions are on the clock, and you dash out the door, and you see him on screen like a split screen. He's just like running out the freeway.
You're watching the draft. All of a sudden, you see me just like darting a frame, hand Roger down the pick.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm just picturing you right on the freeway, like the Rocky music playing. Dun, 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 dun.
Here to save the Lions' future.
And like all Lions fans like cheering you on, like go.
You look at the Lions war room. You got fans like screaming and yelling so they can't even talk. Take up as much time as possible. Oh man, no. This is good news if you're a Lions fan, because this tells me that there's more possibility of the Lions getting Chase Young. And I've said it before, just like we said last time. I think it was last pod, might have been the one before. If we're not getting Tua Tagovailoa at number 3, if that's not the pick we're going with, the only pick I'd be okay with outside of Tua at 3, or obviously Burrow at 3, is Chase Young. If one of those two guys is available or both are available, I am happy and very happy with either pick. Very happy with either pick.
Yep.
So, because again, I think those are two of
one of those two guys will be available, and if not, you're getting Joe Burrow. So
right. If you are looking for game-changing type talent at a game-changing type position, quarterback and pass rush are pretty much the top 2. So we have a chance to get one of those 2, and we're almost guaranteed one of those 2.
unless you trade back.
Unless you trade back, which at that point I give up. But please don't screw this up. The rumor that Chase Young,
terrified I am of this draft right now.
This draft is
when the line, like I'm not gonna be able to watch.
what this draft is.
I'm gonna be watching like through
what
my
this
fingers.
draft is. Does this front office have any idea what the hell they're doing, or are we screwed for the next 3 years as Lions fans? Because not even if the front office, even if Quinn and Patricia get fired after this season because they made a bad pick, you know damn well the new regime's not going to be good in their first year, and they're not going to be good in their second year. So guess what, Lions fans? We got at bare minimum 3 years if they fuck this up.
Yeah,
This ain't good.
It's not a fun time to be a Lions fan.
Who decided that Bob Quinn it should be the guy to make this pick? Because you know what he reminds me of?
Who, Bob Quinn?
Yes, it's just the way he does things, particularly
like looks or like
no, the way he does things, particularly around the draft.
Okay, who?
And by that I mean
do not
trying to be the smartest guy in the room.
Do not say who I think you're going to say.
Who do you think I'm going to say?
Well, you said try to be the smartest man in the room, so I don't think you're going to say what I thought you were going to say. But I thought you were going to go back to Matt Millen.
No.
I'm like, don't bring that name up.
No,
in this
Matt
room.
Millen just went, ooh, look, wide receiver. No.
Kevin Costner in draft day.
No. Marty Morningwig for taking the win in overtime. Trying to be the smartest guy in the room. Yeah. Trying to be the smartest guy in the room by taking the win in overtime. That's what Bob Quinn uses that strategy in his drafts.
And I got Marty Morwig's autograph.
How much that worth?
Probably $0. I actually might have to pay people to take it.
At least in this city.
I remember I got in trouble in 4th grade for it.
But that's what Bob Quinn's draft strategy reminds me of, is him trying to be the smartest guy in the room by taking the tight end at number 8 or taking the cornerback Jeff Okudah over his teammate Chase Young at number 3. That when is that ever successful? Trying to be the smartest guy in the room. Newsflash, if you aren't the smartest guy in the room, trying to be him probably isn't going to work out for you. So let's just do the actual smart thing here and take best player available. You're a top 3 pick. You know what that says? Unless you traded for it, it means your team sucks.
You'd be better off trying to reason out a calculus problem.
It means your team sucks and you have a lot of holes to fill. So what do you do when your team sucks? You draft best player available. And who's that guy? Chase Young, Tua Tagovailoa, Joe Burrow, any of those 3, and I'll be happy.
If Joe Burrow dropped us at 3, I don't know what I would do.
I'll do the helicopter dance. I don't care.
Oh Lord! I would start running. I'd start having the Lions run like 2 quarterback sets like they do with not two quarterbacks set, but how New Orleans trots out both Taysom Hill and Drew Brees at the same time. Like who's gonna throw the ball?
Let's just say, how chaos sometimes happen in the top ends of drafts. Let's just say that some crazy reason guys like Justin Herbert have an insane combine and jump ahead of Joe Burrow, and I don't know, some wide receiver happy team decides that they want to jump ahead of everybody and go get Jerry Jeudy at number 2. And you have Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, and Chase Young available to you at 3. How mad would you be if they drafted like Bryce Love or some shit?
Or Jalen Hurts, considering he ran a 4.59 today.
Yeah.
I can see someone reaching for him now. At number 3, the Lions draft Jalen Hurts.
You know who would do that?
Did you jump out a window?
You know who would do that? Gruden. John Gruden would do that. Taking Clelin Ferrell at like number 4 last year or something like that.
Who was the old owner of the Raiders?
Al Davis.
Al Davis.
Now it's his son, Mark Davis.
Yeah, but remember how obsessed he was with fast players? He would just draft the fastest player every year. Well, not him, but like he would basically mandate to draft the fastest player every year. I could definitely see the Raiders having made that pick.
Speed kills, but if there's no discernible talents otherwise, look at John Ross. What the hell is he doing now? Actually, didn't he have like a halfway decent start to the year and then he like disappeared because he broke something or whatever?
I remember I think the most notorious one was Darius Hayward-Bay.
Yeah,
for the Raiders.
Yeah. He actually was a halfway decent receiver, though, wasn't he? Let me look up this dude's numbers. Darius Hayward-Bay. Let's see. Let's look at his stats.
But he was they made him the first receiver taken that year. I remember.
Doesn't surprise me. Yeah. Okay, all right. He had 2 seasons I'd say were respectable. 2012 he caught 41 balls for 600 yards and 5 touchdowns, and then 2011 he actually had a good year. 64 balls, 975 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So I'd say it's actually a halfway decent, good year. Outside of that, dude never caught 30 balls again. So there's your answer.
Oh man, like the receivers weren't like insane that year, but you did have names like Jeremy Maclin.
He's not even in the league anymore, is he?
I know, but he was a beast when he was in his prime.
He was all right. He was pretty good.
Michael Crabtree.
Crabtree was all right.
And then...
and unless you ask Richard Sherman.
Unless you ask Richard Sherman.
Apparently he's just a sorry-ass receiver.
And Mike Wallace was drafted.
Mike Wallace was a good... Yeah. I think he was probably the best of those 3 guys.
He was drafted behind all those guys.
Yeah. He's probably the best of those 3. But
Percy Harvin, but he wasn't. He was more.
He had one good year.
He was effective in the return game for a little bit longer, but that was about it.
Yeah, I'm actually curious. What did Percy Harvin end up doing in his career stats wise? Because I thought he had like a couple of seasons where he was halfway decent.
Well, that was the year the Lions drafted Brandon Pettigrew over guys like Vontae Davis and Clay Matthews.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, there was one year Percy Harvin caught 87 balls for 967 yards and 6 touchdowns. The year before that, 71 for 868 and 5. His rookie year, 60 for 790 and 6. Outside of that, dude was terrible. His next best year would have been 62 for 677 and 3 touchdowns, and then 51 for 483 and a touchdown. But he was terrible otherwise. I mean, dude sucked. But no, if the Lions are in a position where the Lions are actually in a position where they end up with either Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, or Chase Young, provided they don't trade back,
a little more likely we may.
And if that's the case, and I do believe that the Redskins are just doing due diligence here or putting up a smokescreen to try to get a team to come get that pick. Cool. At that point, wonderful. Yeah. Makes the pick easy for Bob Quinn. Does that mean he'll take him? No. I sure hope it does, though. He better.
Yeah. Agreed.
If Chase Young and Tua Tagovailoa are staring you in the face at pick number 3 and you don't take either one of them,
Again, jumping out a window.
The reports today come out that Tua Tagovailoa is healthy, looks great. Oh, God.
Anyway.
We did finally get a report on Stafford's back, though. I don't know if you saw this. Yes. No. Apparently, he will be doing a full load of off-season workouts.
Oh, there you go.
His back is apparently ready to go.
There you go. I think, was it Bob Quinn came out and tried to quash rumors of him?
We are absolutely not. I called him myself. There is no way that we are trading you, Matthew Stafford. Oh, get the hell out of here.
3 days later, breaking news. All right, I do want to close out a little bit of a fun topic here, just some fun, quick speculation. So Ben Wallace was giving an interview with 120 Watts podcast. So shout out to them.
120 Watts podcast. Yeah. I have never heard of them.
Neither. Shout out.
They got Ben Wallace. They got to be doing something right.
Either way, so he talked about how he doesn't think that the 04 team would have won that championship if they had drafted Melo over Darko, because he doesn't believe Melo would have meshed well with the veterans in the locker room and probably would have been a little too much about himself. My question to you, do you think he's accurate in that assessment, or do you think that this was a championship team with Melo?
I think the team was good enough to where I think they still won a title. I'm not going to lie to you. I do think there is some reason to believe that, there would have been some problems there. I think you would have seen certain players maybe leave a little bit sooner. So maybe the run may have not lasted as long as it did, because their run lasted for what? Because they made 3 straight Eastern Conference Finals, and then they went to the NBA Finals, and then they made it again in 05.
Yeah, we went back-to-back NBA Finals, and after that, I think
went again in 08, and then everything tanked after that.
We didn't go to the finals in 08.
Oh, I thought we did.
No.
Was it Eastern Conference Finals in 08 then?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
But no, we just went to the finals in 04, 03, 04, and 04, 05.
Okay. So, I mean, they had the run going for a little bit, for the better part of a decade.
Yeah.
I do think that maybe part of me wants to believe that Larry Brown would have whipped his ass into shape, and that the veterans on that team would have whipped his ass into shape.
Like, would he even molded into a different player being with the Pistons in his first couple of years? Like, would that have molded him into a different player than he actually ended up becoming? Would it have molded him more of a team player and a more of a given a different mindset entering the league?
It's definitely possible. I mean, he would have filled the position that they could have utilized, because Tayshaun Prince was excellent defensively, but wasn't as good offensively. He was still a solid player, very solid player, and was kind of like a glue guy on that team. But putting
still
Carmelo,
the 4th offensive option on that team,
right?
Out of only Ben Wallace,
right? But putting Carmelo in there and having Tayshaun be that defensive juggernaut off the bench. And that specialist that you could, and that position and a guy that you could play at pretty much any position, so he's still playing 30 minutes a game. There's a lot to be said about that. There's some value in that. And my question is, though, would they have gotten Rasheed at that point? That's a different story that makes me question.
You know what I wonder even more so than than the Melo speculation? I wonder how it would have turned out if we drafted Dwayne Wade. I know that wasn't barely being considered at number 2, but like having Dwayne Wade come off the bench behind Hamilton and be one of the big scorers for that bench unit, I wonder I feel like Dwayne Wade's
that team
would have been a humble enough guy.
I think that team would have won another title on top of the one they had. I think they still would have gotten Rasheed. I think that team would have actually won 2, maybe even 3 titles with D Wade based on how good he was.
Yeah.
The one that I actually find myself asking the most about is Chris Bosh, and the reason is because he went number 4.
Until he had those health issues, he was a beast.
Right, he was a beast for sure with Toronto, and the reason is because that likely would have meant that we didn't get Rasheed Wallace in a trade, because that position would have been filled. Now, mind you, they could have still grabbed Rasheed and brought Bosh off the bench in his rookie year. But that's another situation where I do think that the Pistons could have had more longevity in terms of success, because when we had Rasheed, he wasn't that young.
Yeah.
There is some wonder whether or not how much Rasheed had played a role in the downfall of that team. In terms of, we all know about the whole Flip Saunders situation with Rip and Chauncey and Ben and just everybody kind of tearing that whole thing down at that point. But
are you thinking Kuster?
What?
Are you thinking?
No, I'm thinking of Flip Saunders. They got him fired.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, they did him raw. They did him bad. That's why when Flip died, when Flip passed away, a lot of the Pistons came out and talked about remorse, and you know they felt bad the way they handled that situation. They wish they handled it better. I know Rip was one of those guys that came out.
Because I remember you had that locker room boycott with when Kuster was the coach. Remember that?
That's because John Kuster's a terrible coach. Flip Saunders was a hell of a coach, but he just didn't mesh with the play style of the Pistons. But either way, it was. I just wonder if any of those other three guys, and primarily Bosch and Wade in particular, because Melo would have been a nice piece, but he didn't. The mentality of the player didn't quite fit with the Pistons. The talent certainly would have been nice, but I also do wonder if he would have changed his ways and been a different player had he played for an organization that was a lot more tight knit, had really good veteran leadership on it, as opposed to just being thrown out there and automatically being the guy, being the leader. So I wonder if that would have changed it the way he played the game, and also playing for a coach who preached playing the right way.
Yeah.
But I think it would have created a little bit more longevity for that era of Pistons basketball for sure.
Yeah, agreed. That's fun to speculate on.
It is.
Because you literally drafted the one player who didn't help you.
You literally drafted a future farmer. I just want to point that out. He was a future
Hey, he did
farmer.
box.
Yeah, and got his ass kicked. He sucked at everything he did. I hope his farm's successful at least.
Man. Anyway, that's all we got for you guys. Oh, real quick, did you see the Pistons like Big Sean merge?
I did.
It's so ugly.
I actually haven't seen any of the pictures. I just saw the report that they merged with them, or that they are doing like a joint clothing thing.
It's like a graffiti artist barfed on the Pistons jerseys. Where it looks like.
Oh God!
It's just all over the place. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just chaos.
Yikes.
Here you go. It's like when you would get it's like when you get your yearbook signed, but your jersey.
Did they just go and take a screenshot of underneath a bridge off 94? Like what the hell is this? Detroit. Well, Don's barbershop. I don't even know who Don is.
What's the Coney name? It was like Detroit Coney or something.
Detroit Coney. That's a pretty well-known Coney.
But they couldn't play Lafayette's, man.
Jim's Garage.
They put
here's a good one. Don Life check cashing.
So they put some more well-known places.
Check cashing? Because those are awesome establishments to throw up on your jersey. What the hell?
Oh, my Lord.
What in the hell are these? How do we go back? I accidentally clicked on the Lakers thing.
Put some Detroit staples on there, man.
Sure, they've got the Spirit of Detroit thing, but how about just don't design your jersey that way? Because that looks terrible. It looks like you went underneath a bridge on 94 and just
7
took
Mile
pictures.
corner store.
It literally looks like you. I get what they're trying to do by getting the heart and soul of Detroit. Yeah. Bringing out the neighborhoods and the lesser known spots that people should go to and see and
you know how much
promoting that type of stuff. Probably $300.
$175.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Oh man, but yeah,
I'll be honest with you. I don't think I'd pay $175 for anything that has to do with the Pistons right now. Anything.
No.
That's come from a big Pistons fan.
No.
You ain't getting me to spend $175 on anything Pistons related. Or Lions. Or Tigers. Have you, by the way, totally off topic, but have you seen that in spring training, you know how everybody obviously hates the Astros for the cheating thing and they've come in? Have you seen that they've had 5 hitters get beamed in 3 games?
No.
In spring training so far? They've had 5 players get hit.
I would not want to be on the Astros right now.
No. Obviously this can't continue. Baseball will not allow it. You'll be losing starting pitchers. There will be suspensions to managers and players. This can't continue. It's outright dangerous.
But until they stop it...
Right, which they've actually already started, before the spring training started, we're talking about it. Apparently players didn't care because they've still hit them 5 times in 3 games.
It's like that Russell Peters joke where he said when his dad would hit him to discipline him, one time he ran a call child protective services and his dad was like, hey, you can call them, but they won't be here for 22 minutes, and in that time
Jesus Christ.
until they come.
It's terrible. Terrible.
Anyway,
I was wondering how much the Astros were going to get beamed this year, and we're off to a hot start.
What's the over under?
I think the league averages 82 batters hit over the course of a season. I'm going to say that if I'm setting the over-under at league average, I'm going way over. I bet you they lead the league. I think the Indians led the league last year with like 120 or something like that. Like they were well above anybody else.
Yeah.
But I think they lead the league. I'm just going to throw that out there, that they lead the league in hit by pitches this year.
I think that's an easy one.
But anyways, though, guys, that is going to close it out for this week's episode. Thank you guys for listening, as always. Check us out on Twitter at Real Fan Report is how you can find us, and we hope you enjoyed, and we will see you guys next week. Andrew, thank you for joining me, and thank you guys for listening. Have a good week.
Thank you for making smart decisions.
Peace out.
Peace.